Uh, Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for taking time and watching this session on demand. Today we have with us Umesh, who will talk to us about how SAP Cloud ALM can actually help you in not only implementing your SAP applications, but also in the ongoing operations of your SAP applications. As you might already know, Cloud ALM is part of your enterprise support contract. So you can actually deploy the Cloud ALM without any additional cost. And it comes with a lot of cloud native applications. I'll allow, or rather, I'd request Umesh to kind of introduce himself and talk to us about number one, how Cloud ALM can actually help customers, and number two, also in terms of save maybe 5-10 minutes at the end for questions as well. So with that, Umesh, can I ask you to introduce yourself and take it away, please?
Thanks, Mukesh, and warm welcome from my side as well. As Mukesh said, my name is UMESH Jagadish, and I am from SAP Labs India, based out of Bangalore office. I hold the portfolio of rolling out the SAP applications across SAP ALM portfolio of applications across APJ. Predominantly, I focus on the operations topic, but being from the background of the solution manager or the ALM, I also take care of implementation. So that's the brief, and then maybe I can start with the agenda. Is this fine, Mukesh?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So what I will be explaining in a couple of hours from now, or at least 1 hour from now, is I will be explaining about the portfolio of products that we have in SAP ALM, like Solution Manager, Focused Run, and SAP Cloud ALM. And I will be more deep diving into the SAP Cloud ALM part, because which is the new tool or the new ALM product within our portfolio. Right. So with this, let me just get into the presentation and then say, explain you about the various tool set which I already explained. SAP Solution Manager. So this is existing more than 20 years now, which means we have 20 years of the development which have been put in SAP Solution Manager. Very widely used and very highly customizable and robust product, right? So it means you can have a lot of customizations, and you have even SAP has given you in terms of a standard add-ons like Focused Build and Focused Insights on top of SAP Solution Manager, which you can deploy using the add-on which is called ST-OST, and then start using your end-to-end requirements to deploy process, and also your dashboarding process, which you don't need to do a major customization. Just deploy this and do a basic setup and then start using it. So that's about the add-on on top of the Solution Manager. SAP Solution Manager, as I said, has gone a long journey, and we have the development has been done more than 2 decades, and we have a strong platform for the on-premise, and also slowly we also supported the cloud products. It's been like a couple of years now that Solution Manager also supports the cloud products, and now it is a very strong platform for the on-premise centric customers, where they wanted to host all their SAP applications, and also to the certain extent the non-SAP applications as well, and in terms of implementation and also in terms of operations, right? SAP Focused Run is the second product which I would be talking about. SAP Focused Run, basically, if you see in Solution Manager, we have two things. One is the implementation side of the house, and the other one is the operation side of the house. So that is what we call it as the SAP Solution Manager is a business suite of ALM, where we have end-to-end both implementation capabilities and also the operations capabilities in SAP Solution Manager. But for the partners who wanted to use SAP ALM capability in terms of operations, we have spin off the capability from Solution Manager. We created a separate product called SAP Focused Run. Right? What it means, SAP Focused Run is a spin-off of SAP Solution Manager, and it has majorly focusing only the operation side of the house, but not the implementations, which means you don't have the implementation capability, so you don't have the business process monitoring capability. Purely the technical monitoring, the operations, application operations monitoring part of the house is what is being taken care in SAP Focused Run. And one good example would be our HANA Enterprise Cloud, which is now the ECS. And currently we have 50,000 plus systems, which is hosted on this particular platform for the technical operations. We have a lot of other customers as well who are official customer reference for Focused Run, where they have hosted thousands of their systems or hundreds of their systems on SAP Focused. It could be Atos, it could be controllers, it could be any other SI partners that they are using Focused Run for providing their operation services as a service for their customers. And also we have Robert Bosch as a customer, one official reference. I think we have several official reference for Focused Run, but I would like to quote Robert Bosch is also using Focused Run for their operations as a customer. They have been also a speaker in ALM Summit since last 2-3 years on SAP Focused Run. As I said, SAP Focused Run, if the customer wanted to use an advanced monitoring capabilities, then they can use SAP Focused Run. And what we did is in SAP Focused Run, the capabilities that we were not able to deliver with SAP Solution Manager, because it could be because of the stack, or it could be because of the technical footprints that we were not able to use the HANA in Solution Manager, because Solution Manager is any DB product and here SAP Focused Run is an only HANA DB product. So we have delivered the advanced capabilities for the customers in terms of the scalability, which means the customer can host more than 3 digits of the diagnostic agent or the systems in SAP Focused Run. And also the customer can have the single level message monitoring, and they can monitor millions of messages using Focused Run. Not only this, we also have been delivered the AI capability with SAP Focused Run. I would say this is predominantly which we did it for our internal customer, and then which was very much successful. And then we also rolled it out for the other customers as well. This is in terms of the prediction of your downtime. So in SAP Focused Run, you will be able to predict the HANA downtime with respect to out of memory or the hung state. We have two fantastic models which you will be able to predict using this particular model well before you will get to know whether your HANA database is getting into your hung state or whether it is getting out of memory state. Not only this, we also have something called the forecasting capability in SAP Focused Run, which means for all the technical KPIs that you have in your operating systems or the host level, you will be able to predict for a certain number of times using the forecasting algorithms, whether it's an PAL algorithm within the HANA database or APL algorithm or forecasting smoothing algorithm for you internal HANA capability for this. So these are all the major differences if you consider SAP Focused Run and Solution Manager. And the third product is SAP Cloud Alm, which is new in the sense it's been like 3 years, 2.5 years now, right? So SAP Cloud Alm is a SaaS application. Similar to SAP Solution Manager, we have SAP Cloud Alm, where we have in SAP Cloud Alm both implementation and the operations capability. So if you see, we have thousands of customers who are only the cloud-based customers. So all these days, we didn't have any ALM tools, which is based on the cloud-based, which means the SaaS application. And that's where we started with SAP Cloud ALM. And slowly, we also saw that, okay, the need of the Cloud ALM for also the small on-premise footprint customers, where the customers having cloud-centric applications, but also they have 1 or 2 applications which is still on-premise, still they are using it. And of course, they need to have the operations capability in order to monitor those on-premise footprints as well, right? In that sense, SAP Cloud ALM today supports both hybrid, which means cloud applications and also the on-premise applications for monitoring. And from the implementation side of the house in SAP Cloud ALM, I'll also detail what are all the activate methodologies and also the content, the best practice content, which has been already released in SAP Cloud ALM, and how you can accelerate your implementation and get the value of SAP Cloud ALM in terms of implementation, right? So with this, I will just go to the next slide, and just off topic on the, not from the product side, but also we have a flagship event called SAP ALM Summit in APG. And this is a once in a year event, and this happens in all the 3 regions. And this time we start with APJ, which is in July 26th to 29th, and it is virtual. And this is virtual and free, which means whenever we did this event prior to the COVID, then it was always on premise, and then it is a charged event. In fact, 25,000 per ticket is what the charge, and we have huge participation from the entire India community here for ALM Summit. And this time also we are going virtual, and it is free because we have provided even last time and previous to last time, since it's virtual and it's free. And this is a 4-day event where you will be able to learn a lot of things about SAP Cloud ALM predominantly, and also a lot of things in terms of focus run and also cross-topic solution manager, focus build, test capabilities and test mechanism, and all the things with respect to the SAP ALM portfolio of products. I will highly recommend all the customers to nominate and also to register this event, because we already have filled 70% of the seats as of today that I am speaking, right? So I would highly recommend that immediately you register for this particular event before the registration gets closed, right? And just on the event detailing, we have this 3 tracks in terms of track 1, we have implementation and operations, implementation of SAP applications and all the sessions with regards to the implementation. In the track 2, you have operations, and in track 3, we have cross LOBs and partners. And we have all the details which is mentioned here as well. And of course, do not miss the day 1, which is keynote. Entirely, it is a keynote day where you will be able to hear a lot from the senior VPs and also the partners who have implemented, and also the customer reference stories as well. And on top of this, we also have the CPOs who are speaking on day 1 in the keynote in terms of implementation and the operations, from Michael Clofer and the Yanko Butsish, who is actually the chief product owners who is responsible for developing the implementation and operations capability in Cloud ALM. And of course, Mark Thier, our SVP of ALM portfolio, right? So with this, I'll directly jump into the SAP Cloud ALM. As I already detailed, out of these 3 products which we have, SAP Cloud, SAP Solution Manager, predominantly on the on-premise centric customers, and SAP Focus Run, mostly for the advanced needs for the users, and also for the partners who wanted to host all their customer into one central platform with a distributed or with a customer-centric, network-centric, and also clearly a data fencing area. They should be able to connect each and every customer into their particular data fencing area. This is the customer or the partner use case for Focus Run. And the third is SAP Cloud ALM. SAP Cloud ALM is built for the cloud-centric customers or the cloud-only customers, where the customers can mostly having into the cloud applications and also the small footprints of on-premise applications. SAP Cloud ALM supports mostly the implementation and the operation side, both similar to the SAP Solution Manager. As you see here, the design to deploy the upper side of the wheel is the implementation capability. And if you see the bottom wheel, we have detect to correct or the detect to automate, which is called the operations capability. With SAP Cloud ALM, you will be able to accelerate time to value, which means how you can accelerate your project implementation and safeguard your business continuity in terms of the business process monitoring, or in terms of application operations, or in terms of the integrations monitoring in itself, right? And also, obviously, with such kind of tools, you will be able to reduce your total cost of the operations, which is your total cost of ownership. So what do you see in terms of SAP Cloud ALM implementation, right? So you will be able to reduce the implementation cost, and you will be able to reduce the operation cost. And SAP Cloud ALM, as Mukesh rightly explained, it is free for customers. We have a fair usage policy of 8 GB for every customer, which means 8 GB is a lot, because we have seen thousands, at least we already reached 3 customer already in SAP Cloud ALM, where we have not seen more than 2 customers who is breaching this 8 GB of memory, right? So We have a lot of capabilities from the customer managed systems, which is connected to Cloud ALM, both on-premise and cloud. They are using it, but still we don't see that it is breaching 8 GB of memory, which means this fair usage policy is good enough. This 8 GB is good enough in order to connect your managed systems and do the monitoring, also for implementation aspect as well, right? So what do you see in terms of the SAP Cloud ALM implementation? We have process, we have task, we have test, and we have deploy management. In process, you will be able to see a lot of process libraries in terms of the success factors, in terms of S4HANA implementation. Just in case if you have an S4HANA public cloud implementation, you will be able to get all the best practice content, including the activate methodology, and you have in everything in terms of the business process diagram, the value chain diagrams, and also various things regarding to your implementation of S4HANA public cloud. And this holds good for the success factor implementation as well. Say if you are implementing success factors, we have the best practice contents, which is provided from the line of business. And this is available in SAP Cloud ALM. And of course, we have this for all the modules that is available for success factor implementation, right from the recruitment to the payroll, right? So whether it is and it's just turnkey, you just click on the button. I'll be able to show it in the demo as well. And once you're able to process and scope it, then all the process in terms of the recruitment module is available for you. And the next is the task. So once you select this particular process or the scoping, you will be able to see the task which is related for that particular module. Say if you're implementing recruitment or if you're implementing the payroll, then you see all the tasks which is required in terms of the implementation is actually available in your project management. So if you're actually looking this particular task, and if you're monitoring it means that you are monitoring your entire project. If you are working on your task, it means that you are working on your exact project, and then the project reporting obviously shows you that how exactly your project is, whether it is on track or whether it is delaying, or what exactly is going on with your project management itself, in the management monitoring itself, right? We also have the test management. Currently, SAP Cloud ALM supports the manual testing, and also just in case if you need to create a manual test case from that particular business, all the business process steps can be converted into a manual test, the steps. But of course, we also have an OEM agreement with test management, which is Tricentis Tosca. And they are developing the tool, the SaaS application, again, the Tricentis, which will be in conjunction with SAP Cloud ALM. Right, most probably this year or next year, we will be able to get this tool. And once this is available, we will be able to integrate this automation, the Tricentis automation tool in SAP Cloud ALM, right? And SAP Cloud ALM also supports the deployment management in terms of feature. That's about this SAP Cloud ALM implementation capability. What I'll do is quickly get into this particular demo part and then show you how exactly it looks into the system. And then I will move into the operations part after the implementation demo. So let me go to my internal demo system. Somehow it's showing the user ID password issue. Let me take the another tenant where it should go with the single sign-on.
So is there any issue, Umesh, in terms of, oh, now it's working.
Yeah, I have taken the other tenant, yeah. Okay, what you see here is the SAP Cloud ALM tenant, and you see various pages here and also the tiles. You see the support which is required in terms of SAP Cloud ALM, the support portal, help portal, expert portal of operations, and expert portals of implementation. These two are very much important for the consultants who would like to implement the various managed services or the managed system into the capabilities in terms of operations or in terms of implementations. You also have the page for implementation, where you will see all the capabilities which I explained in terms of project overview, projects, task, manage scope, process authoring, also the deployment, which is called features, and the requirements. Let me open the project here. I click on this project. I will talk about the operations later once I finish the presentation. So what you see here is the project management capability. Here we have the default project. So let me also try to create a project and show you what exactly the project is. So this is the project management. You create a new project where you provide the project name. You have the status for the project. You can select the status and you can say which template. And this is where you select what is that you're going to implement. This all the templates is available as part of the LOBs. These templates or the best practice content is provided from the line of business. Right. So which means we have the content for SAP S/4HANA public cloud. We have the content for S/4HANA private edition system conversion or S/4HANA public cloud or the private edition in terms of new implementation. We also have the content for the success factors. Say if I am selecting for the success factors in the scoping, I will be able to see all the content with respect to the success factors. Let me select for S/4HANA as of now. And we have various other capabilities and also the parameters that I should be able to select here. Say if I wanted to select the phase, we have the prepare, explore, realize phase, and we also have the time boxing. The time boxing defines what is the time that you wanted to define for your project. So today I am starting with my prepare phase and I wanted to say that, okay, the explore phase is in the next month and the release is followed by the month of June, and I wanted to select the deployment in July, and I wanted to select the execution in the month of August, right? So not only this, what we also have the capability of adding some other time boxing as well. Say this could be an internal stage or internal date that I would like to align something with my management. I can also define a time range for this as well. This could be in before the go live. Say I wanted to have this time. So, I mean, you have the feasibility of creating any number of time boxes. The similar way, you could also create a sprints just in case if you execute your project in terms of sprints, and you can also say that, okay, sprint 1, I wanted to deliver in the sprint in July or June sometime, right? So the start date and end date is same, but I can also select this as 17 and then say, okay, so 10 days is my sprint. We also have the milestones that we can define as standard. We have this kickoff meeting and we have planned go live and actual go live, but nevertheless, we can also create our own milestones here. If you just click on this plus button, you can provide your milestone 1 and you can create your milestone and then also set a specific date for this particular milestones. So this is basically on the project defining. Once you define the project, you should be able to see your project. Let me just cancel this and take the own project, which is already available. And I'll also show various other capabilities that you will be able to do in terms of the project management. You will be able to create a teams. Say I have created a PMO team and you see various roles in terms of the PMO team. I can go and edit and I can also create various other roles, right? I have an edit option here. I can scroll down and then create various other roles as well, right? So currently I have these many roles, which is created project lead, analytics expert, business process expert, configuration expert, and so on. And what I could also do is I can also assign certain users. Here you see already the users who is assigned. Say I could also go and type my name and see that, okay, UMESH Jagadish, I can assign this. And I could also see this by users, that is by roles, and this is by users. This is the different way of looking into the roles for particular users. What I can also do is I can go to the roles and see that, okay, I need to create different roles and I can create my own roles, right? So I can create my own role and say that, okay, this is role 1, this is required for my project. I don't see this role is existing in standard, and then I save this, I should be able to see this role, right? So now whenever I go to teams, I should be able to assign this particular role, which is created new. We can also define the releases. So for the project, say you can define on the releases and you say that, okay, what exactly is the release, at what timelines you would like to define this particular release strategy, right? So when you go to the projects now and then jump into the process, so we have the next tile. If you see here, we have task, we have scoping. Let me just click on this task. this task is basically imported or showing what are all the tasks in terms of the template that we have selected, right? In step one, whenever we are creating the project, we selected a template. In that particular template, based on the project implementation, it will show the number of tasks which is available. Here, if you see, I have 268 tasks. And here I can filter it down. Say I wanted to see on the time boxing, I click on this. I wanted to see the task. Since it is in a prepare phase, I select only the prepare phase tasks. And here I see I have already completed those prepare phase. Sorry, I have to just move around, I think. 1 second. Yeah, okay. This is the light sensor. Okay, I was not moving and this is switched off. Okay, so let me just take the other phase. I think I have already completed this prepare phase because I don't see any of the tasks. And if you click on this, you see all the tasks with respect to the explore phase, right? So if you just scroll down and see, we have 50 tasks, 51 tasks rather. Say here you have 51 tasks, and you click on this, all the 51 tasks, and I say that, okay, I need to do some changes for this task. Okay, I can do one by one, or I can also do a mass change. Say I'm a project manager and I would like to say that, okay, all the task for this particular explore phase has been started, which means the status is in progress. And now I can also do various other changes in terms of assignees, say to whom I need to assign, or what is the due. And also I can click on the start date, and I can also see the release version, priority, also various other parameters I should be able to set. So let me say save now, right? Which means all the tasks with respect to the 51 in terms of the filters that we have selected, which is in explore phase. Now I have changed it into the in process. So by this way, you will be able to do a mass edit for the various tasks. And here we have the scoping, which means which are all the scopes that I would like to include for this particular project. Now, if you see for this particular project, I have included 4 scopes. One is from finance, logistics, sales, SF. So if I would like to create another scope, say, let me just say, SCA webinar. If you just scroll down here, you see all the best practice content. Say if I'm implementing best practice for SAP Marketing Cloud, or say if it is for success factors, say I have the success factors content for the recruiting here, the best practice content for SAP Success Factors recruiting, and I see everything in terms of the recruitment here. Say I will also include the compensation, right? And I say save. Once I save and confirm, so I'm also including the scope for success factors in terms of implementation. Now, if I go to the process scoping, I should be able to see what are all the process that I have selected for this particular success factor related. And I could also select, say, different, I should be able to select the scope, whichever I have defined. And here I see all the 9 success factors related. Say, let me just select this. And I could also go in terms of the deep level selection, where for every process that I would be able to select, or also see that, okay, what is the solution value flow for this particular job profile maintenance and success factor, which is basically 3FP. And also I should be able to see that, okay, solution process flow, what is the solution execution for this particular process flow. Unfortunately, I don't see the diagram is loading. Yeah, now I see the diagram, which is loaded. Let me just also zoom in and click on this particular diagram. Here I see that, okay, this is only one step, and I see that, okay, I can create a requirement or a note here. But I can also go to the solution process flow. In solution process flow, I should be able to see what exactly is the process for the job profile maintenance and success factors. And if you are able to see this particular, let me just zoom in, right? So in order to fulfill this particular process, first is you need to maintain the job profile, and then create a family, and then create a role. And after creating a role, you need to create a competency. And after creating the competency, you need to map the role with job code. So this is all the step-by-step process in order to fulfill that particular business process in the success factors implementation. Say that, okay, in map role with competency, there is some kind of customization which is required. You might need an add-on, you might need a custom development in terms of the add-ons that you are creating on top of the BTP, right, or an API. So you can put a note that, okay, I need certain customizing which needs to be done, or I can also create a requirement directly from here. So the requirement screen will open up, and then you can do all the requirement defining here. And of course, you can also have the test cases for this requirement and also the additional information and the references, right? So once you define this requirement, you should be able to assign this, or it is already linked to this particular requirement for that particular business process or the process step where you have defined, and you should be able to see that requirement here, right? You have the requirement. And just like requirement, you will be also able to create a user story, or you can also assign a user story for this particular business process flow, right? Okay. Currently, you cannot edit the standard diagram, but slowly you will also get this editing capability in future in Cloud ALM as well. But what you could also do is there is also a process authoring, which means we have delivered from the line of business all the standard business practice content. And if you see that, okay, I need to define an entire custom process, I can define it here. And this custom process also can be included in the scoping during the implementations phase. If you just remember in the previous screen, I also created a separate scope for the SCA webinar, and then I was able to select the success factor related recruiting and also the other onboarding or the payroll related modules. Similar to that, you will be also able to select this particular process in that particular scoping, right? So this is your custom model. So this is about the implementation, but I would like to show one overview screen. Here, you will be able to see all the data about your project. This is basically a dashboarding kind of thing where you will be able to see about all the overall health of your project management or the project. This is basically used by the project managers where they will be able to see what is my project, whether my project status is okay, and what is the current phase, when is it going to end, what is the remaining days, and how exactly my project is performing. Overall task, I see overall task 11% is completed. In the prepare phase, 100% is already done, and that is why I was not able to see any task when I selected the prepare phase. Excuse me. And here you see the total overdue task in terms of warning. Today I need to basically finish 6 tasks based on the timelines that I have assigned and also the task which is defined, because I have been assigned as the assignee for certain tasks. And here you can see upcoming task where I have been assigned. You also see that all the 6 tasks which has been assigned to me, and I should be able to work on this directly jumping from that particular screen. Right. Not only this, we also have various other capabilities in terms of the reporting. If you just scroll down, you have various other things that you would be able to see. You can see what is the scope by status. We have a webinar, we have design phase, test case preparations, requirements per work stream, and also various other trends. Say, for instance, if I would like to see various charts and there are certain analytics views that you will be able to see, for instance, project reporting, project progress reporting, task distribution, task trend analysis. We have requirement traceability. Okay, how exactly this requirement was created. From the requirement, you can see the user story and the feature. If there is anything which is linked to the requirements, the end-to-end, you will be able to have the traceability metrics here. And you also have the burn-up chart and also the solution process traceability. Right. So this is all about SAP Cloud ALM for implementation. Right. Let me just go to the home page now. And I will also go to the PPT. Yeah. So now we have seen the implementation part of SAP Cloud ALM. SAP Cloud ALM, just to summarize from the implementation side, today SAP Cloud ALM supports the S/4HANA public cloud and also the success factor implementation. Slowly, we will also get Ariba content in terms of the best practice this year, which is there in the roadmap. And also we will also see that, okay, what are all the other contents that we can move into SAP Cloud ALM so that it supports all the project implementation in terms of the best practice content. But in operations, it is almost all there. What it means, right from the on-premise component to the cloud product, we have a host of applications which is already supported in terms of SAP Cloud ALM. I'll just touch upon that particular slide first and then see that, okay, what are all the products which is supported in terms of Cloud ALM operations, and then we can get into the demo part directly, right? Let me just open this particular slide and show you one slide which covers almost all in terms of the operations, right? So here, if you see the current, the operations roadmap, what we have is in terms of the capabilities, we have business process monitoring, integration and exception monitoring, user and performance monitoring, job monitoring, health monitoring. Here, if you see, almost most of the products is already supported in terms of the integration and exception monitoring. In business process monitoring, we support all S/4HANA content, which means S/4HANA, whether it's any flavor, whether it's a public cloud, private cloud, or it's an on-premise. And we also have the business suite of applications, say any of your NetWeaver stack, which is more than about 740, and SP, the STPI level SP17, then we are also able to pull the data in terms of the business process content for that particular business suite of systems. And also in terms of the business process monitoring, we have SAP Success Factors, right, which is supported. This is predominantly on the recruiting module that we are supporting today. And we also have the roadmap. If you see this particular plan for 2022, we have further KPIs in terms of success factors as well. And also we have SAP Ariba and further KPIs in terms of the S/4HANA and the business suite of applications as well. So which means we every day, just while we are speaking, even now, I think there are thousands of lines of codes which is getting into the Cloud ALM development. Every day we move this into the production system, but every 2 weeks is what we release the feature to the customers, which means this is completely the cloud-based development. Also, the release is like in 2 weeks, you will be able to see something new in your Cloud ALM applications, which is released in terms of content or in terms of UI or in terms of getting the new products into the any of the capabilities that you see in the business process monitoring till health monitoring. And you also see in terms of the roadmap, we have a strong roadmap in terms of integration and exception monitoring. We have already almost have a lot of SAP on-premise and the cloud applications here, but you see the SAP Business by Design, SAP Analytics Cloud, we have BTP Cloud Foundry applications, and also the CIC or the data intelligence. All these products has been planned for 2022. The similar line, we also have the user and performance monitoring. This is something fantastic capability that I would say every click of a real user you will be able to monitor. I will also show this in the demo. And if you see in this line, we already cover S/4HANA, all flavors, business suite of systems, sales and services cloud, success factor, EC payroll system, and also the BTP Neo custom applications where we have the ABAP applications, which is created on top of BTP, the custom applications that the performance of the particular applications can be monitored. Also, we can monitor the performance of the marketing cloud. This is basically the end users, the actual users who is trying to access the particular application, right? In the similar line, we have job and automation monitoring where all these products has been covered, and also in the health monitoring. So health monitoring, I have to talk a lot about this because as I said, Cloud ALM was primarily designed or developed for the cloud-centric customers. And also we spoke about the cloud-centric customer as a low footprint of the on-premise systems. And that is where we are providing the capability for monitoring, the system monitoring capability, the lean level system monitoring capability in terms of health monitoring, which means you can also collect your business suite of systems into health monitoring capability, and you can monitor your CPU, you can monitor your ICM threads, you can see your database growth, heap memory, and various other parameters in terms of system monitoring. And of course, we are also having a lot of other capability in terms of health monitoring. Maybe I will cover this as part of the demo as well, right? So with this, I will directly jump into the slide where I wanted to just explain the capability slide first in terms of the Cloud ALM. So this is the overall picture of SAP Cloud ALM operations. What we have is we have various items here in the left-hand side. If you see in the slide, we have metrics, we have configuration items, log entries, events, and alerts, which is actually coming into the various capabilities. The capabilities can be business process monitoring or integration and exception monitoring, user and performance monitoring, job monitoring, and health monitoring. So whenever we have something in terms of this capability, if there is any kind of anomalies or the events which is generated, it could be from metrics to the alerts, then we have the intelligent event processing. Now, IEP, intelligent event processing, will take care of the further steps, which means it could be an alert management where you would like to create an alert and notify certain user or an L0 users that, okay, there is some kind of anomaly situations or a threshold breach which is happening in your system, and I need to create an alert for this particular item. Or there could be in parallel action as a notification management. Okay, this particular system is down. I need to notify Umesh because he is the system owner, and there is an say this there is particular action item which needs to be taken care, right? So that's in terms of the notification management. And we also have the analytics and the operations automation in the similar line, where you will be able to see the deep dive activities in terms of the operations capability whenever there are any kind of anomalies which is happening, and where you could take these kind of actions from the intelligent event processing. And this is all automated, right? And in that line, if you see, we have the email, which means you could send the email as a notification, and we should be able to create a tickets. This is in the pipeline, or which is there in the roadmap. Currently, we already have the connectivity for the service now, which is there in the development phase. We have tested in the development tenants, and this is all fine. Most probably, we should be able to release this very soon to the customer as well, which means if whenever there is any kind of alert which is happening, then you can convert this into your ServiceNow tickets. And this is the separate API, which is tightly bounded with SAP Cloud ALM and ServiceNow. Using this API, you have a tight integration in between this Cloud ALM and the ServiceNow, right? So which means two-way integrations. You have the ServiceNow ticket in SAP Cloud ALM, and you have the details of the ServiceNow here in SAP Cloud ALM. And this is using the particular API, which is only for ServiceNow. And in the similar line, we will also have the another API, which will be a generic API, which you can use this particular API, and you should be able to create tickets for any home or your own incident management tool. It could be Solution Manager incident management, or it could be, say, any other incident management or homegrown tools that you are using. Using this particular API, you should be able to integrate this to your own incident management tool, right? And on that lines, we also have this operation flows. I will also explain this how it works. And currently what we support is we support BTP workflow management, we support intelligent robotic automation, we support autopilot. All these three things is what currently supported today. What it means, say, if you have a business process monitoring issue and this particular issue has been created as an alert, for this particular alert, you can already have a BTP workflow. If at all, say, if the vendor creation has failed in the integration monitoring, or if the purchase orders has been created more and nothing has been happening in terms of purchase order or production order, this particular item will create an alert. For this, we have a workflow which is already defined in BTP. This workflow can be automatically triggered without even a manual intervention, which means there is already a kind of self-healing procedure that you have defined, and this will notify the business user, and that will trigger this process, and the process will automatically start in terms of doing the certain steps so that we don't get this particular error in future. So this is in terms of the operations capability. I will quickly get into the demo part of operations capabilities. As I already showed you the implementation demo, we have the operations. And in SAP Cloud ALM for operations, we have various capabilities that I explained, right? We have business process monitoring, integration and exception monitoring, real user monitoring, job and automation monitoring, and health monitoring. Let me click on job business process monitoring, also the integration and exception monitoring, and the real user monitoring for the demo part. We also open the health monitoring. Hi, Sonal, thanks for joining.
Hi, Sonal.
Okay.
Hi, Mukesh. Hi, Umesh.
Okay, what we see here is the business process monitoring screen in SAP Cloud ALM. And here you see the end-to-end business process, right? What it means, we have lead to cash, we have source to pay, we have design to operate, and recruit to retire, right? So here you also have a page where you can see the overview, monitoring, alerting, right? So let me get into the lead to cash scenario or the design to operate. If I click on this particular tile, I will be able to see the various business process scenarios within this end-to-end process. Right? Say we have idea to design, plan to project, procure to receipt, and material to product, order to invoice, various other KPIs or the details. Now you also see the KPIs which has already been painted here, which means you see this KPIs which is directly fetching from your S/4HANA system, or it could be say public cloud or private cloud or your business suite of systems, as I already explained in my roadmap slide. What you see here is the various capabilities or the tiles in terms of the KPI. Say you see the production orders which is created, which is green. You also see the trend here. So which means compared to the previous 8 days period, which is 8th of 5 until 15th, what you see here is it is minus 0.8% of the trend. But can you see here in terms of the open and the purchase orders, which is overdue, here you see it is plus 9.1. But whatever you see here, the data, it is not a static data, right? So you click on this particular data, say this is 842, and you get to see all the details about this purchase order items. And you see the graphical view, whether this is material group or whether this is trading material, test ZAN, all related this particular in a graphical way. Also, you could see the document details here. So what is the purchase order document? And you can also see the various metadata informations for that particular purchase order. What is the company code, purchase organization, supplying plant, and things, right? As a business process administrator, what I would say is, okay, if I am monitoring this particular business process, if I am responsible, what I will see is, okay, from this particular screen, I will just export into the spreadsheet and I will forward this to my the business team and say that, okay, why is this many purchase orders is pending, right? I have 842 items, and this is the action that I can do from my side. And similar to this, we have various other KPIs that I would be able to monitor, right? You could see the finance indicator, and we have various other KPIs in terms of procure to receipt or design to operate itself that you would like to monitor directly, right? So these are all the KPIs. And we also have the integration to the alert, so that you have, whenever you have an issue, you should be able to create an alert as well. And all this configuration has been done in terms of the config from the configuration button here, right? So this is on the configuration. But again, there could be a certain questions in terms of the business process scope, right? So if I am the business owner for the procure to pay or the procure to receipt, in this case, I should be able to see only the KPIs with respect to procure to receipt, right? But not to material to product. And this kind of scope restriction is also possible in Cloud ALM. You need to define this particular scope and also restrict this particular scope to a particular user, so that they should be able to see only this particular process and the KPIs for that particular process. And you could also say the KPI level restriction also it is possible in terms of scoping, right? So I'll just close on the business process monitoring and then go to integration monitoring, right? So I don't see the data for integration monitoring yet. Let me take on the integration monitoring demo from some other tenant. Somehow there is an issue in terms of integration monitoring, but let me just explain how exactly this integration monitoring works. So integration monitoring provides the platform in terms of monitoring your integration. And this integration can be your cloud-to-cloud integration in terms of the iFlows, or it could be an integration messages, or it could be an web service calls, it could be iDocs, it could be BDocs, it could be your HTTP calls, or whatever the integrations that is supported in terms of Cloud ALM, which is again listed here as I showed you. We will be able to monitor, but not only that, you monitor the channel, you monitor each and every messages. And here in Cloud ALM, you will be able to monitor every single level messages. You can monitor millions of messages whatever the number of messages that you have. And also you can drill down to the deepest level of the message attributes, which means you will be able to see the metadata informations in terms of the UDS attributes. What is the say if it's a conquer object, you will be able to see what is this conquer object, what is the vendor name, what is the vendor line items, how many records has been failed, what is the records, what is the error log, just in case if the integration is failed. And also from the failure or the error, you will be also have the linkage to the alert and the event management, which means you can create a notification, you can create a send the email alert for this particular issue which has happened. And also you should be able to see the link directly to navigate to the success factor systems or the other cloud service link whenever there is a failure, so that you can directly jump into the particular end system and then see. Right, so that's in terms of the integration monitoring. And here what you see is the real user monitoring. Just in let me take a ABAP system here, an S4HANA system. You see here the S4HANA system. If I click on this view, you see different request which is from that particular system, and what are all the different request types, how many read executions, what is the total executions, average response time, number of users. Also you have various filters where you can filter in terms of the username, in terms of request types, and all the other filters that you would like to use. Not only this, we also have different deep dive. Say I can directly get into this AIF post processing. I see that, okay, this is the action or the steps which is in that particular message, and I can click on this particular, what you see is the various timestamp at what point in time this particular application has been called. Right here you see this application, this is the application, and you have various data about this particular application. If you click on this, you see the metadata information in terms of the response time, net time, memory, number of round trips, bytes, and we have various other. We also have the jump in details in terms of, say, navigation into the root cause analysis as well, which is planned in future. Currently it is not available. Right, so what you see is the end-to-end data correlation for this particular call from the particular user, which is actually the real user, not the static user or a script which is executing. We also have the analysis views, just in case if you would like to analyze, okay, what for this particular use, what are all the executions and what are all the systems that is been touching and what are all the services, right? Say, and also I would like to see which metric, how is this response time for this particular application or for certain users. All these things are possible. We have interesting view of the front end. In the front end, we have various details with respect to the end user time, whether it's how much, basically the response time, how exactly this is performing with respect to the end user network and the backend time. And we also have the different view in terms of the operating system, web browsers, which is your which browser it has been used, and also the device type, basically which device it has been used from the end user to access this particular applications. We also have the different combined view. Say I click on this operating system in the browser. Here you would be able to see, okay, this is the maximum users where they are using Windows 10 and the Chrome 96, and there are 424 users, right? Okay, I would like to send a message to all my Windows 10 users. How do I do this? Okay, I click on this particular block in the pie chart, and they see all the users basically who is using this particular applications in my Cloud ALM or in this particular managed service system. And I have all the users data in terms of the operating systems or the browsers which they are using. Right now, from the admin side, I can take a direct action telling that, okay, Chrome 96 browser, there is one activity which I need to explain to my end users to do so. Say there is a 3-step procedure which they need to execute, because there is one such application after the update, it doesn't work with the Chrome browser. So they have to execute this particular step in their system, right? So I can take this, download this particular dump. This is basically the username. Currently, I'm not able to see the username. This is an encrypted. Once I have the authorization, I will be able to see which user is this. And from the username, I should be able to get my email IDs from the for a particular customer, and then I should be able to send a notification or an email for this particular users telling that, okay, they need to update something in terms of the browser specific. right? We also have different views in terms of the expensive request, and we have various details in terms of 24 hours profile, how exactly these applications were performing. And here I have different ways, whether it's a performance view or a workload view or a usage view. Here you could see that, okay, the same applications, you can see the application size is differing, because here in the performance view of exactly the highest the performance, then the box is higher. Here in the workload, what is the number of time taken in terms of seconds, highest the number, then the box is high. Here in terms of the usage, if you see the various number of users, say highest the number of users, if you just take the mouse over, you see, okay, there are 10 unique calls. That is why the size of this box is bigger than this particular box, where this box has only one unique calls, right? And you also see this red, amber, green, where you see that, okay, the threshold 0 to 10 is green, and 10 to 50 is amber, and 50 to 90 is light red, and 90 to 100 is dark red, right? We have these capabilities in terms of real user monitoring. And health monitoring capabilities, we have very lean level health monitoring capabilities, which means the lean level system monitoring capabilities. We are able to monitor the CPUs or the ICM threads or any other informations with respect to the technical monitoring that we can do it for a on-premise system, and you will be able to see it here in the health monitoring. ABAP license, dialog steps, work process on hold, short terms, number of users, response time in terms of ICM parameters, in terms of resources, whether it is an heap memory or the extended memory. So these are all the metrics that we currently monitor and then show in terms of health monitoring, right? So that's the capability in terms of operations. I will just directly navigate to the PPT, and then maybe I need to check on the time as well. I think we have already breached 5 minutes. How is it with you, Mukesh? How do we take this further? I think I have completed demo for operations as well. There are certain events which I already explained.
We still have about 15 minutes blocked for this session. So if you think you can complete in 15 minutes, then we can go ahead and finish that.
Perfect. I'll take another 5 minutes to explain about, say, the events and the important links to the customers. And also I have already explained about ALM Summit, which is the flagship event and which is in July 26 to 29 in APJ, right? I have also shared the links on in the slides. For all the customers, you will be able to get the slide, and you should definitely register for this event, right? So on the similar lines, we have different connects. We have multiple, say, in terms of the Success Connect, which is in September 13th to 14th in this year. And also we have ALM Summits. I already explained about this APJ, which the registration link is already out, followed by the EMEA event, which will be on October 18 to 21, and November it is in North America, right? We also have multiple roadshows planned. We will be able to contact the customers, at least in India. That is what we are planning, but we'll have to see based on the situations in Southeast Asia, or we will plan based on the situation on the road shows as well. If not in person, we will also plan the virtual road shows for these particular market units. And we also have the quarterly updates, which has been made available as a webinar, where our CPOs will be detailing about the new capabilities which has been released for the whole quarter. And then we have the demo and also the capabilities overview from the CPOs. And I will also highly recommend for all the customers to attend this particular quarterly update, so that you get to know how exactly the cloud ALM is evolving in terms of the capabilities and in terms of the features that we are delivering for the customers in cloud ALM, right? So with this, I will also have this community page. Look into this community page. There is a lot of active threads which has been going on. If you have any kind of queries, you could also get to know with this community. Also, feel free to be active in this community page. So with this, I'll hand it over to Mukesh and also to Sonal. If you have something to inform about, maybe you can inform now, and then open to Q&A as well.
Nothing from my side, Umesh. You covered everything.
Yeah, I think from a questions perspective, I don't have any specific questions, but One thing that I wanted to check with you is, if someone wanted to try this out, where can they go? And I know that there are tutorials that we have created for someone who wants to understand how Cloud ALM works. So where can someone find those tutorials?
Exactly. So as I already detailed, so everything is in one-stop page, right? So it is support.sap.com. So in support.sap.com, if you go, we have various ALM content here. If you go to application lifecycle management, we have solution manager related, focus run related, SAP Cloud ALM related. Click on SAP Cloud ALM, you will get to know all the details about Cloud ALM. The first thing which I would also recommend is, since SAP Cloud ALM is part of your maintenance contract, first go to this request and then request your SAP Cloud ALM, which is absolutely free for you if you have a valid contract with SAP. And as I already explained, this is the fair usage rights.
There is a question there, which is, can anyone request this, or someone needs to have a specific authorization within their SAP system in order for them to request this?
Okay, the customer, whenever he tries to request this, let me click on this, right? So whenever they click on this request, obviously they will have the S user, right? So the S user will have certain access to request the Cloud ALM tenant, right? Not even Cloud ALM. So if they wanted to request any such tenant, they should have certain authorizations. Now, what you see here is, for my user, I don't have the authorization, right? Similarly, if the customer click on this particular request SAP Cloud ALM, they should be able to see a customer name, which is, say, customer ABC, the consultant or the basis admin is trying to request. They see ABC and then entitled, yes, and provisioning status. If they have not provisioned, no, then region and action. Under the action button, they have request. If they click on request, from there, they have just two pop-ups where they need to select and then click on OK. That's all. Within 5 minutes, they get the SAP Cloud ALM tenant. This is straightforward case. But for the customer, maybe I'll complete.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So for this is a straightforward case. Say in certain cases, there is for a consultant or the user of the customer who don't have the usage rights for requesting SAP Cloud ALM, they will be able to see a customer name here and also entitled. Yes, everything is fine, but they will be not able to request here, which means they click on this My Important Contacts. Here, there is a link. If they click on this My Important Contacts for the customer, they will be able to see all the authorized email IDs and the authorized yes user for that particular customer, which means they need to use that particular user to request the SAP Cloud ALM. So here completes the circle. So they have all the information to request SAP Cloud ALM. One is the first case, straightforward case. The second one is the authorization missing case. They need to go with My Important Contacts and look into which user has the authorization, ask them to request. And also we have a fantastic video on this. I will also share the YouTube links to you, Mukesh. So whenever you are circulating, maybe we could also send this YouTube link, how they need to request the Cloud ALM part.
Super. That's really great. I think that was the only question that I had. Otherwise, you pretty much covered the entire content. So thank you so much for taking us through the entire content and showing us what the capabilities are for SAP Cloud ALM. With live demos, it usually happens, right? There is always something that that breaks during the live demo. So that's not
exactly,
a problem.
Yeah.
That's Murphy's
So
law.
just before the demo, it was working. I think some activity is going on. I didn't check up, but I think other than integration monitoring, we were able to show all the demos. It was good. I think we could also do an integration monitoring specific session if the customer are interested, because that's low hanging fruit for the customers and which is very much interesting for the customers as well. I think we could also do a specific half-an-hour session or 40-minute session for the customers in future.
Yeah, it is also important because unless all the integration connections that they've created, it always needs to be on in order for the entire end-to-end data process to work seamlessly, right? So it is important to monitor those integrations.
You're right.
Okay, I think thank you so much for taking us through the entire content. And as I told you, so for people who are watching this on demand. If there are any questions, please do reach out to either me, to Sonal, or to Umesh. For people who are watching on LinkedIn Live or on LinkedIn later on, I've tagged Umesh on the LinkedIn post as well. You can directly reach out to him on LinkedIn as well if you need to, or you can always reach out to me and I can connect you guys. So until next time, thank you so much and take care.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Mukesh and Sonal, for joining. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Mukesh. Thanks, Umesh. Bye-bye.
Bye.